Hello and Happy New Year. It's a real pleasure to be recording my first video message to Babacne of 2025. I'd like to begin by congratulating the whole Babacne team on a fantastic Christmas lunch at the end of last year. It was such a successful event, with a brilliant atmosphere, great attendance. So many congratulations from me and everyone in the consulate for your efforts. What I'd like to do today is run through a couple of highlights of the last few weeks. I'll touch on a couple of policy initiatives from the UK that will be helpful to flag to you, and then to talk a little bit about what's coming down the line at the consulate over the next couple of months. So looking backwards, one of the highlights of the last few weeks for me was my visit to Connecticut, where I had the opportunity to meet the governor to review the trade and investment relationship between the UK and Connecticut, and talk through some of the opportunities to develop and grow the relationship, particularly in the areas of manufacturing, aerospace, clean energy, but also financial services, where we've had some great cooperation with Connecticut on insurance over the last few years. I was also able to get up to Maine at the beginning of January, where I had the opportunity to meet the governor there as well, and we were able to review what we've been doing in the relationship over the last couple of years, and where the opportunities lay going forward, particularly around clean energy, but also around agriculture, where I think there's real potential for us to do more with Maine. As I said, there's a couple of policy initiatives that I wanted to highlight to you. The first was the Prime Minister's speech on artificial intelligence earlier this week, which I think highlighted this government's ambition for the UK to be a real leader in artificial intelligence, both in the development of AI, but also in its use both in government, but also in business. The second initiative I wanted to flag was the introduction of the electronic travel authorization for US citizens travelling to the UK at the beginning of this year. The aim of this is to develop a streamlined, digital, secure immigration system between the UK and the US. The ETA only costs £10 and is valid for 2 years. Looking forward, there are three things that I wanted to use this message to highlight. The first is Burns Night. We have a really fantastic series of events around Burns Night, looking at issues like NHS procurement, like fintech, like ocean tech, and venture capital, really sort of showcasing the best of what Scotland has to offer, but also building the relationships between Scottish businesses and organisations, and businesses and organisations here in Massachusetts. The second thing I wanted to highlight were a couple of delegations coming out from UK universities over the coming months, which are looking to deepen the relationship with universities and businesses in the US and in Boston and Massachusetts, but particularly in the area of spin-outs, and figuring out how we can develop links between those businesses spinning out of UK universities and organisations here in the US. The final point I wanted to highlight was a couple of really interesting delegations from Northern Ireland that will be coming through Boston over the next couple of months. The first is from Catalyst, which is an entrepreneurship and innovation hub based in Belfast that will be coming out in March, and also a delegation of leading female entrepreneurs from Northern Ireland. And both of those organisations will be looking to deepen their relationships with businesses, with investors here in Boston, and also to learn from the innovation ecosystem here in Boston and in New England more broadly.